probably start my stream before I start the game. And also before I start doing other stuff. I had the game all queued up and I was all ready to start streaming, and then I did not press the stream button. Oh my god. Why you do this? Why is it not showing up? Sorry, one moment. It really wants to capture my Steam window, even though I've told it not to. There we go. Rosewater, not Steam. I don't know why that's such a problem for you. Okay. Now we're in business. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Rosewater stream. I've been looking forward to this since last week, because this game rules, and I'm very excited to see where it takes us next. So let's jump right in. So last time, we managed to finagle our way into this room here, which is where these strange cultist people have gathered a bunch of relics and knickknacks and belongings and personal effects of Evocator Bennett. So there's probably gonna be something cool in here. Oops. Oh yeah, I got fertilizer, because I had a vague... One of the alternatives was to blow up the lab, which I don't really want to do.
Prometheus bringing fire. Nothing's hidden behind it. No idea what that is, but it looks complicated. Doesn't seem to be working. Reminds me of an overgrown boiler. Doesn't seem to be working. Clark had quite the library. Let's see. Books on science, engineering, astronomy. I'm sure this is all fascinating, but it's not going to help me any. Full of all kinds of liquids. I'd rather not know what they are.
Start drinking.
Just another one of Clark's weird toys. Only one way to find out what's inside. Bottles of different colors. Nothing helpful. Bottles.
Ah, I love this framing device, where like the scene is shown through like the frame of like a piece of furniture or something. Not really a framing device, but it's an artistic choice.
Somewhat resembles
It's a good one.
telegraph, but what is this box for? The things some people will keep for posterity, I'll never understand.
A pen!
It somewhat resembles a telegraph, but what is this box for? What in the hell is this supposed to be? Didn't do anything. Probably for the best. It's full of cloudy orange liquid.
That better not be pee.
Damn, that's got a kick to it. The New Britannia Gazette. The lead article is about the upcoming Lamplight City Expo. Interesting how the follow-up is nowhere to be found. A bunch of scribbles documenting the effects of ethericity on plants.
Ah, which we saw for ourselves.
Some notes documenting the effects of ethericity on animals. They're signed by a Juliet Montgomery.
That, I believe we met Juliet in Lamplight City.
There could be something useful in there.
I think her whole deal was effects on ethericity on animals, and there was a whole lab about that. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, which I might not be.
Lots of extra glassware. Nothing I need. There could be some... Nothing but empty vials and flasks.
If this was a Kyrandia game, I could totally grab a potion bottle from in there.
Nothing but... Must be nice to actually be able to understand this stuff.
Horendia? Is that what you thought I said? Captions? You're weird. Go home, Captions, you're drunk.
Who knows what goodies I might find in there? A closed cabinet is an open invitation as far as I'm concerned. Lots more books, mostly about technical subjects. And what's this? Looks like a diary.
I should have known.
No! I wasn't done!
Get out of here this instant, degenerate!
Aw.
Don't you dare try any more trickery, or Emissary Paul will hear of it.
At least I found what I was looking for.
I strongly suggest you get out of my sight.
Boo.
I should probably get out of Beardy's sight first.
Fair. Let's find somewhere nice and peaceful to read this diary. Right next to the fertilizer.
The final entry is bookmarked with a letter. Definitely worth a read. But first...
March 13th, 1845. I'm embarking on a new project, which means a new journal. Who is this, Atris from Myst? Here I will record my notes and observations from a series of experiments on the generation and application of etheric energy. I believe it can be profitably harvested from the very air and harnessed for an immense number of beneficial uses. I see the streets of Lamplight City aglow, not with a smoky flicker of flame from burning costly oil, but with bright etheric light from lamps that never need fuel. I see compact, efficient etheric engines replacing the bulky and limited diffusion generators that drive Her Majesty's airships. I see our nation's mills and manufactories humming, kept in motion not with the sweat of the brow or the belching fumes of coal fires, but with the clean, abundant power of ethericity. The applications are limitless, but before they can be realized, I must turn my attention to the practical problem of efficient generation, not to mention safe, reliable storage. Even if energy can be summoned from the atmosphere on demand, some intermediate storage device will be necessary to absorb the excess and release it in a controlled fashion. Absent such a mechanism to modulate the unpredictable flow of raw power, the effect would be akin to cooking one's breakfast by exploding a stick of dynamite. Tomorrow I must visit Cunningham's to order glass tubes and ampoules, as he always takes weeks to deliver. I hope he also has magnetite on hand in sufficient quantities so I can start experimenting with it right away, but I will try the iron filings first, if not. Down to last spool of copper wire, I must pick up more. And I must stop by the offices of the Gazette soon to circulate an advertisement for a new assistant in the weekend edition. Much to do. I'm actually going to... Hold on, I'm going to close this. And we're going to go to a different room because I don't want this windmill creaking in the background while I'm reading. Oh. You appear to be naked. Well, you know what? I'm just going to keep reading. Anyway, January 19th, 1846. I happen to know... Wait. Okay, so I think, if I remember correctly, So March 13th, I think, is the... Wait. Oh, I can't remember. So March 13th is the day after my birthday. And January 19th is my mom's birthday. It's also Francisco Gonzalez's birthday. And then his partner... Oh, God, her birthday is also like right near either... I can't remember if it's right near mine or like one of my parents or my dad's. I can't remember. It's one of the two. Anyway, it's a weird coincidence that like that these two people share birthdays very close to my parents and or me. Hello, Obersolo. Anyway, tangent aside, January 19th, 1846. Some days the work has been maddeningly slow, and some days it seems we advance by leaps and bounds. I am kept too busy to think often of writing in this journal, yet I have made notable progress. I have built the first prototype capable of harvesting ambient etheric potential and channeling it to produce energy, in this instance heat. There is as yet no flow regulation mechanism, so the entire energy yield feeds directly into a copper heating element, suspended within a water-filled cylinder affixed with a thermometer. The top is left open to vent the steam which is frequently produced in abundance. In future, naturally, the entire heating coil steam tube apparatus will be replaced with another assemblage capable of converting the ethericity into useful energy to generate light, say, or mechanical motion. The prototype does not appear capable as yet of generating heat beyond the material's tolerance. However, I have reached the limits of this particular configuration without hazarding a faceful of superheated steam and shattered glass. I cannot say with confidence even now that a random harmonic flux in the atmosphere could not cause a sudden spike of etheric energy that would produce such a result. Now that the principle is proven, we must experiment with introducing a regulator to throttle and control the flow for both safety and practicality. There remains the not inconsequential matter of funding. It has taken longer than anticipated to reach even this early milestone. Beyond the initial outlay for equipment, I had not accounted for the necessity of covering rent on the old Turnbull Street storehouse, nor the wages of my assistant, Franck, for so long a term. I have already removed from Mrs. Gladstone's modest but comfortable lodgings to the garret over the storehouse, a move which has proved economical as regards both money and time, if rather less satisfactory in the matter of board. I fear I did not give Mrs. Gladstone's Sunday roasts quite the credit I now realize, in want of them, was their due. Despite the savings thereby afforded, my meagre reserves will soon be depleted at this rate, unless I can induce a benefactor to relieve me of these pecuniary obligations. November 6, 1846. At Franck's instigation, I have embarked on a program of fortnightly public demonstrations of our apparatus. A brief lecture on the principles of ethericity, followed by a practical display of the generator's operation, is offered to all comers, or as many will fit within the storehouse, free of charge. I confess that at first I regarded this pageantry as a distraction from the work, a senseless bit of spectacle to dazzle the simple tradesfolk and labourers who occupy this district. However, Franck persuaded me that attracting an investor would require some measure of transparency as to my research. And while it is true that most who attend my presentations come seeking thrills rather than any intellectual or financial engagement, putting on these shows has allowed word to spread, and some are beginning to take notice. Last month's published Proceedings of the Vespuccian Royal Society of Natural Philosophy contained a mention of rumours of research into the generation of etheric power by a Mr. Clerk of Turnbull Street. I leave aside that they misspelled my name and omitted my title. Not everyone can pay society dues and have their credentials indelibly observed, but they know enough of my work to have it spoken of in those lofty chambers of knowledge and opportunity, and that is what matters. And since they did accurately remark the address of my laboratory, perhaps one or two of those learned gentlemen might be persuaded to visit and see my work for themselves. Learned gentlemen. I shall pen the letter to the Society Secretary at once. February 2nd, 1847. With the introductions and encouragement lately extended by Dr. Nethersole, second Vice President of the VRSNP, I have secured connections sufficient to gain my place in an etheric pavilion to be installed at the Lamplight City Global Expo this very summer. Not only will I have the opportunity to demonstrate my etheric generator before a grand public audience, as a condition of my participation, Harmon and Grove, chief sponsors of the exhibit, have tasked me with consulting on the design of the pavilion in terms of requirements as to technical equipment, layout, accommodations for visitors, tens of thousands expected, and so forth. There is so much to be done to prepare. Tuning of the flow regulator remains the utmost priority. We still have some months left to resolve the superheating issue. have high hopes for the finer gauge electrum filament. It strikes me that whatever investments and explorations these firms have heretofore conducted in the sphere of ethericity, there are really very few individuals to whom they might turn who have any measure of practical experience extending beyond the realm of pure theory. And yet I had to go begging, hat in hand, to them for the opportunity to take part in their exhibition. Absent my generator, which can produce energy at a fraction of the cost of electricity, and with none of the polluting infrastructure, there would be nothing to present at their pavilion but promises and fairy stories of a future not yet in evidence. But I must not bristle at indignities and be grateful for my good fortune. At last the world will see the power of ethericity revealed. Yes. Science! June 6th, 1847. Horrors beyond uttering. I can hardly bring myself to write them here. Franck. Poor Franck. Your mother will not open the door to me, and I cannot say I fault her for that. I will send her your 3 months' wage by post. A paltry sum for a life, but all I have to offer. June 8th, 1847. I have spent the past 2 days sealed in Turnbull Street, every waking moment spent checking and rechecking my prototypes and consulting my research notes, seeking any error or miscalculation. What went wrong? The flow regulator had exhibited irregularities before, but all within tolerance. Nothing on the scale of that. The police will neither return nor allow me to access the remains of the exhibition model. If only I could inspect it, I might find the manufacturing flaw or defect in material that caused the catastrophe. Or, though I shudder to turn my thoughts in this direction, perhaps some sign of sabotage. There are many who would delight to see me fail. Angry crowds dog my steps whenever I venture beyond my door, reinforcing my voluntary seclusion. At every moment I expect the constables to arrive with irons. I have a growing suspicion that some handsome sum was discreetly paid by one of the sponsors to suppress public scandal associated with the event. If so, I am by happenstance the fortunate beneficiary of these maneuverings, and owe to them my present liberty. But what use is my liberty without my work? There on stage at the pavilion I felt myself briefly a colossus of science standing astride the world, with a shining future spread out before me. Now it has all crumbled in one blinding burst of light. September 21st, 1847. The inquest is complete and my name cleared. I bear no formal responsibility for the deaths at the Expo, in the eyes of the city of New Britannia at least. Her people are not so gracious. The Labourites in Parliament are taking advantage of the public furor to press all the more stridently for a blanket ban on etheric research, which I am certain the Prime Minister will be all too glad to sign into law. I am aware of a dark irony in the fact that my exoneration in the matter has likely only lent strength to their arguments, for if I am not some murderous monster, guilty of horrific malpractice, then ethericity itself must be dangerously unstable and unsafe, beyond the power of any man to control. Fools! If they but knew what miraculous possibilities they have foreclosed with their ignorance and fear! Sometimes a scientific truth emerges, which the world is not yet ready to hear. Was not Galileo denounced as a heretic in his day, only to be vindicated by generations yet unborn? Eppur si muove. It is clear that whatever I am to do next, I cannot do it here. I must leave the city. I will go west. Even if total prohibition becomes the law of the land, law's hold is somewhat looser at the nation's virgin fringes, far from the Grand Maison and the chambers of Parliament. The desert has traditionally offered refuge to visionaries and hermit eccentrics. I can continue my work there, away from the throngs. I have come too far and glimpsed too much to give up now. The road of progress was never a smooth one. I have tumbled over a tremendous stumbling block, but I will pick myself up and carry on. Ad occidentum. To the west. In Latin. I don't know what this means. Eppur si muove. My Latin is not that good. January 16th, 1848. My new laboratory, my hermitage, my sanctuary of science in the wilderness, is complete. Moving out here has been an adjustment. For want of the various municipal amenities upon which I was accustomed to rely, my resourcefulness has been sorely tried. For ample hydration, for bodily needs as well as for hydraulic pressure and cooling of my apparatus, I have been obliged to construct a rudimentary water tower. Even the illumination which, living in Lamplight City, I had taken for granted, I must now provide, and I have taken to dipping my own candles, spare wax, and cotton thread. It would be the Governor-General who would sign bills into law in a British Dominion system. Okay. And what did it say it was? Oh, Prime Minister. Okay. Cool. well, I mean, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt. This is an alternate universe. This is not necessarily like exactly intended to mirror the governmental processes of real world Britain. But duly noted. These labors I undertake alone, unwilling to venture so far as engaging another assistant. But solitude was the point of this relocation, was it not? I do believe the desert climate agrees with me. I have certainly found it more conducive to work without interruptions at all hours, and the San Bernardo Valley vistas often offer quite an inspiring change from the clogged alleys and foggy horizons of New Britannia. I am not wholly severed from my fellow man. The small settlement of Rosewater is but a short distance away, should I need to call upon any of civilization's necessities. While I was timid in my reception at first, I have found the people here rather more open-minded than those back east, and I have begun giving occasional lectures and demonstrations for small audiences. If these simple-hearted frontier folk can yet be won over and taught to admire and yearn for the transformative potential of aethericity, then perhaps there is hope for the rest of the nation, in time. In the desert I am made anew. My sins are wiped clean by scouring sands. I begin again. May 24th, 1849. The fools! They have done it! They have sliced off their own nose and stamped upon it as it lay bleeding in the dust for spite. Our Prime Minister, having won re-election in defiance of all decency and good sense, has moved swiftly to deliver on his campaign promises and cite a total and immediate ban on all practical research, experimentation, and development of etheric technology. It is a dark age we live in, and thanks to Leroy and those Laborite technophobes, it will stay that way. Oh! Actually, yeah, if I remember correctly, because Prime Minister is essentially the president. There was a thing about it in Lamplight City. There was there was a vote for Prime Minister. So like, excuse me, sorry, part of my dinner caught in my teeth. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the context was, but yeah, there was a plot point in Lamplight City about the election of the new Prime Minister. So I don't know what like sub-officials the Prime Minister has, and whether it would 100% mirror how it's done in Britain in this setting. Right, yeah, head of government, yes. But like the Lamplight City didn't really go into a lot of detail about like the exact like government offices of Vespuccia. So I don't know if there would be a Governor General in this setting. But yeah, I mean, there's no indication, I don't think, of like that like Britain works exactly like it does in the real world. I think it's fair to just kind of like, if there are any inconsistencies, I would just say, well, it's a work of fiction. Doesn't matter. But again, yeah, I totally get like the nitpicking and the yes, like that's not how things really would work. Because yeah, I'm the same way. Anyway. Blah, 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 labor, we'll say that way. It is not yet clear what the repercussions will be out here, so far from the halls of power. I have no wish to tempt fate, and I have ceased all public display of my work. But will they remember the mad Dr. Clark, the erstwhile wizard of ethericity, and his self-imposed desert exile? Will they come looking for me? Like a scuttling bug, I must keep to the shadows and hope to escape notice. It is the only way forward. One day I hope to deliver the fire of ethericity to man, to lift him up from darkness and keep him in comfort and splendor. For this deed I can but hope that my punishment will be less severe than that which Prometheus endured. My work continues. Legs. Alright, what's the letter say?
February 9th, 1850.
That's only 9 months ago.
Clark, I have a business proposal. Relinquish that dusty laboratory in the middle of nowhere. Come to El Presidio. You may stay in my suite at the Jolly Good Club. My Orem Star membership and military rank afford me certain privileges. You will be furnished with the comforts owing to a man of your intellect and accomplishments.
It's signed L.
P.S. You needn't have any concern for your valuables, as there is ample secure storage in the room. One of the aforementioned perks.
Interesting. Jake will want to see this.
Well, Jake is, occupied?
What in the ether is going on here?
Miss Larkin was kind enough to offer to paint my shadow.
In the altogether?
Well, didn't want to get my clothes dirty.
Besides, I paint the soul. The subject must bear himself and discard all excess.
Sure. Whatever you say.
Could we have a word in private, Jake?
Can't it wait? I'm a bit preoccupied.
Best not to interrupt.
In private, you say. Interesting choice of words.
He's listening to the lecture, and I've got nothing to ask. He does go on, doesn't he? I've had about as much of that as I can handle.
Okay. Well, enjoy your being painted in the nude.
All good with you, Nadine?
Yes, thank you.
They're busy.
I strongly...
Okay. Well, I guess my only recourse now is go back to the lab.
They have an automated irrigation system. Pretty ingenious. Hey, Phil? Let's talk.
What about?
Nothing, I suppose. Never mind.
Whatever you say.
So... what am I supposed to do at this point? I mean, I guess I gotta find a way to talk to Jake. Oh. I should show him the letter.
I will stay in here.
I guess just saying, hey, we need to talk isn't enough. I have to show him proof of why we need to talk. Hey, look what I found. I didn't really want to do it with when one of the other commune members was right there, but whatever.
Hey, Jake. I've got something to show you.
So, show me.
I'd prefer to speak in private.
Can't it wait? I'm a mite indisposed at the moment.
It's to do with what we've been looking for.
Ah, well, in that case, excuse me a moment, won't you, darling?
Where are your clothes? Where did you put them? Okay, thank you.
All right, what do you got?
I found Clark's journal. Have a look at this letter that was inside.
An invitation to the Jolly Good Club in El Presidio?
Yep. Check the date.
9 months ago. Ah, nice sleuthing, Harley. Let's round up the others and say our goodbyes. We need to plan our next steps.
Leaving us so soon? But you've only just arrived.
We appreciate the hospitality, but it's time we moved on.
If your journey must continue, then so be it. But we cannot thank you enough for your discovery of Evocata Bennett's etheric cultivator, Miss Legere. Once we relocate and configure the equipment, our crops will surely flourish.
That's great to hear. I hope you'll all be well fed this winter.
Know that you will always find welcome in Christmas. Farewell, my friend.
Odd bunch of folks, but quite charming in their way.
This was an intriguing diversion, but now the real work starts.
How do you mean?
Harley turned up Clark's diary.
More importantly, I found a letter inside inviting him to the Jolly Good Club in El Presidio. It was dated 9 months ago.
That's right about the time he disappeared, isn't it?
It is indeed. I'd say it's obvious that the good doctor accepted the invitation.
And took his money with him?
Well, it ain't here or in his lab. And what's that postscript in the letter say, Harley?
You needn't have any concern for your valuables, as there is ample secure storage in the room.
Don't get much clearer than that.
I'm not sure he had money exactly. I have the sneaking suspicion that if we do find his valuables, it's not going to be money.
All right, so what's our next move?
Why we follow Clark's trail to El Presidio, of course. First and foremost, we'll need some means of transport.
You haven't got any? Don't you tour around?
Sure, but our show wagon ain't gonna fit all of us.
Plus, we'll need it to store all the show's props and equipment while we're gone. There's that lady in town with a wagon, though. Heard her talking at the saloon once. Said she hires it out to travelers.
Sounds promising. Who is she?
Her name's Lola Johnson. I think she stays in the old blacksmith shop.
Lola Johnson, huh?
You know her?
Not personally, but I've heard of her.
We should head back to Rosewater, no?
Yeah, let's get a move on.
Pretty sure I stole from her.
Right. Harley, I'm putting you in charge of hiring us some transportation. Danny and I are going back to the theater to settle some business. Come get us once you've arranged a ride.
And just how am I meant to arrange it? Financially speaking?
Well, now that may get a mite tricky. Our contract was to pay out at the end of the show's run, but seeing as we'll be breaking that contract, I'm sad to say we'll be forfeiting those proceeds.
Oh, great.
Anybody else got funds to contribute to the kitty?
Not unless this Johnson woman accepts pesos. And I've few enough of those at that.
I'm afraid I haven't got anything either.
Harley, my dear, I'm afraid we must then prevail upon you to furnish the petty cash needed to get our expedition aloft. Seeing as you're the only other one of our posse who's currently in the position of being gainfully employed. And it goes without saying, but you'll be fully reimbursed once we find what we're looking for, on top of your share, with interest.
I certainly hope so.
Wonderful. Well then, we'll be seeing you later.
Well, can I get an
How about you two?
advance
I
on
think I'll
my
pay Dr.
paycheck?
Sedgwick a visit. It's been ages.
And I owe him proper thanks for his care.
See you in a bit, Harley.
What about that rich lady? Although I doubt she'd give us her wagon. Okay. Back in town, Phil and I finally got a look behind the locked door in the lab, and I almost wish we hadn't. The scene we beheld I can only describe as a tangled vegetable Last Supper for nightmarish homunculi all gone to seed. It appears exposure to ethericity somehow stimulated the plant matter and induced it to grow even without soil or sunlight. If they can manage to rejigger the equipment in there without getting anybody killed, the good folk of Chrysalis just might have a solution to their crop failure problems. At the very least, the idea proved distracting enough to afford me a snoop around that archive they had made of Dr. Clark's things. I knew they must have something good stashed in there, and I was right. I discovered a lead as to Dr. Clark's whereabouts in his diary, which enclosed a cryptic invitation to a jolly good club in El Presidio. So we are bound for El Presidio as well. There's only the small matter of transportation to arrange. I am told that Lola Johnson has a wagon for hire and is the person to see. Sup, Sheriff?
Welcome back, Miss Legere.
Hey, Sheriff?
What can I do you for?
Did you ever meet Dr. Bennett Clark?
No, he only came into town every couple of weeks, until the ethericity ban got handed down. And glad I am of that. I have no use for any of that claptrap. All it does is spook folk, and sometimes blows them up.
Don't suppose you've encountered a group in the valley calling themselves the Luminarians?
The what now?
Luminarians. They claim to be the protectors of Dr. Clark's artifacts. They've got a commune set up near his lab.
Oh, come on now. You're pulling my leg.
I'm serious.
Well, so long as I don't get up to nothing in town, they ain't my problem.
Thanks for the chat, Sheriff.
Come back anytime.
Butterflies. Hold on.
Welcome.
I wouldn't have figured the sheriff for a naturalist.
Oh, okay. Nothing new to say about the butterflies. Is he a secret Luminarian?
Ah, Miss Legere. It's good to see you again. Nadine and Mr. Marquez were just telling me how you all were acquainted. Please do continue.
Hey, Phil, let's talk.
What about?
Are you looking forward to our journey west?
I more look forward to what we will find at the end of it.
Right. Carry on. Nadine, could we have a word?
Of course. Pardon me a moment.
So, how was it working for the good doctor?
Well, he taught me everything I know about medicine. It was especially interesting during the rush. We had no shortage of patients then. I lost count of how many broken bones I set.
Seems we've a big journey ahead. Are you excited for it?
Yes, but also a bit nervous. I've never been beyond this valley.
You'll be all right. We've got a good group, and we'll look out for you.
Thank you. I appreciate your kind words.
I'll leave you to your conversation.
I like her boots.
Hey, Doc.
Miss Legere.
I like Harley's boots, too.
Did you ever make the acquaintance of Dr. Bennett Clark?
Ha! Doctor. If that man's a doctor, then I'm Hippocrates.
Shall I take that as a no?
Miss Legere, I do not associate with lunatics and crackpots, especially those who recklessly cause the deaths of innocents. Now, let's not sully the good name of higher learning any further.
Have you met any members of the Luminarians?
I beg your pardon?
They're a community living near the old Clark laboratory.
Oh, those ethericity cultists. Yes, they do make their way into town on occasion. Sometimes the women come to me seeking certain remedies and prophylactics. And I've treated 1 or 2 cases of malnutrition. The desert is a hard place to make a home. Something about the old lab draws in the gullible and deluded. Lost souls searching for meaning.
I'll see you later, Doc.
Do take care of yourself.
Jem, you asshole.
Maps for sale! Get your maps here!
Oh, can't go up the stairs. How many pieces of weight does it cost to buy a map? Good question.
Maps for sale! Get your...
You just keep turning up like a bad copper, don't you?
Nice to see you, too.
Also, is it just dancing lessons?
I'm nearly afraid to ask, what in the Sam Hill are you doing now?
I'm selling maps of the town.
To whom, exactly? Near as I can tell, I'm the only new arrival. The locals in the market for maps of a town you can circumnavigate in 10 minutes.
You're a real stick in the mud, you know that?
Don't go anywhere.
Not like there's anywhere to go.
Maps for sale.
I must admit, I admire the kid's gumption. His orthography, not so much.
Not now, lady. You're scaring away the customers.
Yeah, all 0 of them.
Wonder if Jake will still be doing shows after we find Clark's treasure. A guy like that wilts without a spotlight. Locked.
Dang. Yes. Preemptively scared away all the potential customers. I was thinking about, a few days ago, I was thinking about this game and the D&D.
Good to see you again.
Like what all the characters are. Like if we were making a D&D party, what would the characters in this game be? What classes would they be? So Jake is obviously the bard. I think Danny is a ranger. Nadine is the cleric. I thought I wasn't sure about Phil, but I think Phil is the wizard. Phil blows things up. Phil is the wizard. And Harley, I'm waffling on whether she's the fighter or the rogue. She could be multi-class. She's probably both. And also, I don't think we've met all the possible party members. So we'll have to see what the others are once we get to them.
Good to see you again, Harley. Hope you're spinning me some aurum.
Well, I've spent the past couple days following Jake around, gathering plenty of straw.
Glad to hear it. I like writers who go above and beyond. What do you need?
Say, did you ever get a chance to meet Dr. Bennett Clark?
Not personally, but I did attend one of his demonstrations at the Opera House back before the ban. The man knew how to put on a show, I'll say that much. Pity it all came crashing down in the end.
All the customers already got a road Alice in the insurance company, yeah. When it comes with a car. No, this is my first time playing.
Have you encountered the Luminarians?
What in the ether is a luminarian?
Oh, they're in the ether, all right. They're a community of folks living near Dr. Clark's old lab who have designated themselves protectors of his artifacts. They believe Dr. Clark transcended into the ether and joined some luminous beings that live there.
That's some wild stuff. But I publish newspapers, not copper novels.
Joni, I'd like to ask, could I get an advance on my article?
What for?
The long and the short of it is that Jake has invited me on an expedition. I'll need some extra crowns to cover the expenses.
What kind of an expedition?
We're going to look for Dr. Bennett Clark's missing fortune. Surely a far more interesting story, wouldn't you say?
You're right about that. Tales from the wild frontier are in vogue these days, and folk will be gumming to find out what happened to Clark. But I like people who finish what they start. Get me your assignment, then we can discuss your next one.
Understood. I'd best be on my way.
Right you are.
Well, I mean, nothing stopping me from just writing an
See you
article
later,
about
Joni.
Jake.
Take care of yourself out there.
I guess I should probably do that, huh?
Impressive piece of machinery. Excuse me?
How can I be of assistance?
Did you ever happen to meet Dr. Bennett Clark?
I have Joni's account of his demonstrations at the theater, but I never saw them myself. Never met the man neither. He wasn't seen much in town.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about the Luminarians, would you?
I have no idea what that word even means.
Never mind then. I'll leave you to your work.
Appreciate it, ma'am.
First, though, let's go check out the blacksmith. Because I think that's where Lola is. I would assume.
No lock. Lola must be home.
Light bulb letting cold. I mean,
What
kinda.
do you want?
You're Lola Johnson, right?
Right. Who are you and what's your business?
Name's Harley Leger. My companions and I are headed to El Presidio, and we heard you've got a wagon for hire.
I do. How many are you?
5, including myself.
My fee is 40 crowns up front.
That is Leilani Jones. Jones? I think that's her last name. The voodoo lady from the Monkey Island games.
Your fee seems a bit steep.
My price is my price. I don't haggle. Already been robbed once today. Don't intend to make a habit of it.
That was me. Oh yeah, she's also what's her face? Molly Ageti from Gabriel Knight. The first Gabriel Knight game.
Something of yours was stolen?
My pocket watch.
I see. What if I got it back?
I would be incredibly surprised. Unless there's something you know that I don't.
Let's just say I have my suspicions.
You and me both.
40 crowns. I haven't got that much.
Then stop wasting my time and come back when you do.
I'll come back later.
Bye, Lola. Lola. Lola, Lola. Lola, Lola. Ba-da-na-na, ba-na-ba. Guy's got the same hairstyle as the beardy guy.
Good to see you again.
I think. Okay, hold on. Actually. That was terrible. I'm sorry. Run Lola Run is
Maps of Rosewater, a steal for just 1 crown.
is my favorite movie.
Hey, kid.
Yeah?
You have something that doesn't belong to you.
Could you be more specific?
Lola Johnson's watch. I want it back.
No can do. You swiped that watch for me fair and square.
I think you'll find it in your best interest to give me that watch back.
Oh yeah? Why's that?
Because the sheriff won't be too happy to know there's a thief in town.
You know, you're absolutely right. It'd
Uh-oh.
be a shame if he found out who really broke into One Eye's place and stole that watch. Should I go over there right now and tell him?
That won't be necessary.
Thought as much.
You're on thin ice, kid. Hand over the watch or I might do something I'll regret.
No, you won't. We're in the middle of the town thoroughfare. You lay a hand on me, and everybody and his dog will see it.
Let's give them a real show then. Can't say I didn't warn you. Here it is. I'd better get this back to Lola quick.
Yeah. Headlock would have been a good. Like, look at nobody did anything to me. Yeah, headlock would have been a good idea. That guy had a punch in the face coming. I don't feel bad about doing that.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody cares. And I'm sure I'm not the first person he's fleeced. I'm also gonna write an article.
All right, let's get this thing knocked out. But first,
probably.
Okay, time to bring home the bacon.
Ah.
The big question: how to open?
I don't do typewriter.
From the moment he rode on stage astride a huge, steam-spewing mechanical horse, it could not be denied that Jake Ackerman was more than your typical copperpenny showman. Following that outstanding overture, Gentleman Jake's Wild West Spectacular proceeded in a similarly gobsmacking vein. Now the middle section needs to recapture the reader's interest. Let's see.
I mean, Joni did ask for an interview, so...
A man of many words to match his many deeds, Jake was gracious enough to sit for an interview, in which he revealed some fascinating and candid details about the life behind the legend. And now for an ending. Danny. While Mr. Ackerman is truly a great man, it is undeniably the people around him, most notably his devoted assistant Danny Luo, who ensure his star shines all the brighter. All right, that should do it. Now, what should I title it? The Continuing Adventures of Gentleman Jake. And done. I hope this is good enough. I should get this back into the right hands.
Hello again, Harley. No time to waste gabbing, Leger. Get out there and write.
I did.
Here you are, Joni. One profile of Gentleman Jake, ready to print.
Let's have a look. You know, writing the headline is normally the editor's job. Now let's see. Goodness, this account of the show is very descriptive. You've made me feel like I was there in the front row. This is good. You've kept it brisk all the way through. Not bad, Harley. Not bad at all. A few snips here and there, and this will be fit to print. Here's your fee, as agreed.
Sweet. Money.
Now I know what I'm working with, I'll have a think about your next assignment.
About that.
Hmm?
How about that piece on the search for Clark's missing fortune? That'll be better than any old profile.
Sure enough. All right then. Clark's missing fortune it is.
I've got something else.
Sweet.
Oh? Do tell.
While I was going around with Jake, we spent some time with the Otham. I learned that they've come under constant attack from the soldiers at Fort Beaumont.
What? Why?
That's the thing. There's no reason.
It kills more.
No threat, yet the soldiers harass them anyway. In one recent raid, all their crops were torched.
That's atrocious. People need to know about this.
I'm glad you think so, because their leader wants their story told. She's willing to be interviewed. She gave me this statement, too.
Powerful stuff. I'll pay a visit as soon as I can and see for myself. Plenty of townsfolk could stand to learn about our neighbours in the valley. This could open their eyes.
I hope so. Now, if you'll
Hell
excuse
yeah.
me, I need to see about hiring a wagon.
Godspeed, Harley.
I mean, if I'm framing it as part of my job, then you should be paying me to hire a wagon.
No time
Right?
to waste.
Right? Right?
See you
That's,
later, Joni.
Take care of yourself out there.
That's work expenses, isn't it?
Excuse me?
I'd love to
Don't let me.
Nothing to say to you. All right. Oh, I should, like, show my inventory items to people. See what they say. Pull the Ace Attorney thing. Because this game, that seems like people actually do have, like,
Welcome back, Miss Legere.
unique responses to every inventory item. I think I already... Did I show that one already?
Being in possession of other folks' correspondence ain't exactly legal, you know.
Don't worry about it.
I see you encountered the local natives. The boys at the fort normally keep 'em in check. Hope they didn't cause you any harm.
On the contrary.
I wouldn't drink that stuff if I was you. Seen it do some nasty things. Ain't nothing in here needs tightening or loosening, but thanks all the same. What's this? A diary?
Yep, belonging to Dr. Bennett Clark.
That right. I'm sure it's fascinating reading.
Bored now.
Being in...
I thought so.
Nice watch. I'd be wary of flashing it around, though.
Ah, Miss Legere, it's good to see you again.
You work for the Rosewater Post?
Provisionally.
How unfortunate. I sincerely hope you reconsider your career path. You don't strike me as a propagandist. I'm glad your Prime Minister put an end to etheric research. Nothing good could come of it.
I mean, you were there in the lab. You saw the cool stuff that happened in there.
Lockpicks are fine, but I prefer a more direct approach. Do you mean to tell me there are more of these locos out there?
Wait, what was this
February 12th.
one? Oh, right.
One with 1 p.m.
That's the letter we found in his mailbox.
I do not understand why a man would want to keep something that almost killed him.
Phil's plan won't be necessary. I already got Clark's diary.
A fine tool.
I got Clark's diary.
Ah, nice work. You will have to tell me what it says. So, we are going to El Presidio. I will be curious to see if it lives up to its reputation.
It's true. Indoor plumbing. The unsung hero of civilization.
I appreciate the offer, but I have no use for this.
I'm sure you'll find lots of interesting things to write about around here.
I fail to see what the purpose of showing me this letter is, Miss Legere.
What a horrible catastrophe. A part of me is glad it didn't happen here. But all those people.
Such a senseless loss of life. The quest for knowledge is not a carnival spectacle. When will people learn?
Lockpicks. Do you use these often?
Only when I have to. I'd better not.
It sounds like Dr. Clark was working on some sophisticated technology.
I fail to...
You kept an arrowhead. Why?
Thought it might be a good souvenir.
I see.
Oh dear, I hope this didn't cause any injuries.
Thankfully, no. Just came very close.
You really shouldn't fall for these so-called miracle cures. They often do more harm than good.
Please take my advice and tip that into the nearest ditch. Absolute poppycock.
He's not wrong.
I'm sorry. Mechanics aren't my specialty.
I'm afraid that's not one of the tools of my trade, Miss Legere.
I would hope not.
This is Clark's diary. What do you think?
I'm glad you were able to find something helpful in Chrysalis.
Let me just wrench this ankle back into place.
Hey, Doc, this is Dr. Bennett Clark's diary. What do you think?
I think you'd be better off showing it to someone else.
Yeah, verbal and literal haymakers.
It's difficult to believe a simple letter could take us so far.
I failed.
That's lovely.
An extraordinary timepiece.
Cool. Well, enjoy your talk.
Good to see you again. I don't believe that correspondence is any of my business, Miss Legere. Curious artifact.
I don't think there have been any Back to the Future references. Not that I've seen.
One of the prospectors in the camp took some of that stuff. He didn't make it.
Oof.
I have my own set. Sometimes the printing press needs adjusting. If that's something you want published, you'll need to take it up with Joni. I don't... That's a real beauty.
Hello again, Harley. This correspondence ain't exactly newsworthy, Harley. But there's a hell of a story behind this.
There is.
Well, hang on to it. Always good to have some ready material.
I could have put it in my article. Oops.
I'll make do with me whiskey, thanks. That one of Henry's. He'll be cross if he finds out you've taken it.
No.
What's this then?
The diary of Dr. Bennett Clark.
I see. Didn't know you dabbled in fiction as well.
Hey now.
Ooh, now that is intriguing. Dr. Clark gone west. Just tell me you come by this ethically. Of course, I'm not asking you to expose a source, but since you're new to this, you should know we have certain standards for what we publish.
Don't run it just now. Let me follow this story and see where it leads.
I like the, ethically you say. Let me think about that.
You practicing to be a hypnotist or something?
Yes.
See you later, Joni.
Give me
Take
all
care
your
of yourself
money.
out there.
Okay. I should have saved knocking Jem out until after I'd shown him all my inventory. That's okay. He sucks anyway. He doesn't need to see my cool inventory. Enjoy your nap, Jem. I've got a wagon to hire.
Here, I believe this belongs to you.
I'll be damned. Where did you find it?
Jem had it.
I might have known. Little bastard. Well, one good turn deserves another. I'll knock 10 crowns off my fee.
Oh. Just a discount, not a full exchange? Fine.
Here's your fee.
Good. Get your posse together and meet me outside town at sundown. We'll head out then.
Nice wagon.
There you are. This your group then?
This is us.
All right, folks, listen here. I'm Lola Johnson. This is my wagon. When you're in my wagon, you follow my rules. Rule 1. I'm your driver, not your friend. While we're moving, leave me be. That means no yammering in my ear about how pretty you think the mountains are. Rule 2. We stop and go as I say. I ain't interested in blowing up my engine just 'cause y'all are in a hurry. Last rule. Everybody does their part. Be it cooking, hunting, or gathering firewood. This ain't no pleasure cruise, and I won't be serving y'all. The road can be rough, but I'm an experienced navigator and tracker. So stick with me, and you'll be fine. If you've got any questions, now's the time to ask.
Okay, so she's the ranger of the group. Then what does that make Danny? I mean, we can have 2 rangers. But I feel like Danny needs his own niche.
Regarding your first rule, what if we have an emergency?
Then tell me. Just don't bother me with small talk. I need to concentrate on driving. Anything else?
Just how long do you expect this journey to take?
I reckon it shouldn't be more than 8 or 9 days, weather permitting. Anything else?
You said you're a tracker? What's that mean exactly?
It means I'm good at finding things. One of you gets lost, or we're hunting our supper and need to trail an animal, I can do that.
So, like a bloodhound?
No, like a tracker. Compare me to a dog again, and you're finding yourself another ride. Understand?
Oh, apologies. I didn't mean to offend.
Folk rarely do. Anything else?
Snap.
Well, that's an awful lot of rules. Don't you think the people paying your fee ought to be the ones setting terms?
You know any other folk in town with a wagon? That's what I thought.
We understand. You'll have no trouble from us.
All right then. Let's get a move on. Time's wasted.
We are off, with the first faint tendrils of dawn at our backs. We head west for El Presidio on the trail of the elusive Dr. Clark.
The journey
We have
begins.
but a few days' travel before us, through the desert and mountains to reach the coast. I am rather looking forward to getting a better view of this part of the country.
Lizard!
And should the scenery lack for diversion, I suppose I'll have recourse in the fellowship of my new traveling companions. Now that we've assembled in this unlikely venture, perhaps it's time we got to better know one another.
Feels good to be underway at last.
Yes, though I must admit I tend to become restless on long trips.
Well, we got cards, books, and conversation. Plenty of ways to pass the time.
Cool. Ooh, we got chapters. On the road at last. Okay. She already said this stuff. Our driver seems to know her business up and down and has no end of rules. Miss Johnson laid it down in no uncertain terms that while on the road in this wagon we are as sailors at sea and she our captain absolute. I don't think Jake much liked this usurpation of a natural authority, but provided we don't get ourselves booted off, I think we'll get where we're going. We have but a few days' travel before us through the desert and mountains to reach the coast. I am rather looking forward to getting a better view of this part of the country. Perhaps the journey will furnish some detail or two of interest to write down for Joni later. And should the scenery lack for diversion, I suppose I'll have recourse to the fellowship of my new traveling companions. And we heard the rest already.
None are in the red, so I guess that's good. That's what keeps this heap going. Makes it pretty hot in here, too.
I guess the windows don't open, do they?
We're set for fuel for a good while. Jake's luggage. I could put everything I own in that suitcase, and it would hardly cover the bottom. Lola must be a reader. Always nice to have some books around. I don't think I've read most of these.
Ooh. Check it out. We have a map. Looking at all the names and stuff. Okay, so Piedmont seems to be like France-ish. Rotterdam. That's I was gonna say Germany, but I don't think it is. I think it's actually more like it's Netherlands. I think those are Dutch names. Lage Heuvel. Western Vespuccia. Then we got New Spain, which is basically Mexico. Rosewater. So we are here. And where's El Presidio? Oh. Oh, that's all the way out here. Okay. It is a ways. Cool.
A deck of cards. Helps pass the time. Hey, Nadine.
Hello, Harley. Something I'd like to ask you. You seem quite well traveled. What's it like in a big city?
Well, everywhere's different. I've never been to El Presidio before.
It's big, but from what I hear, not as crowded as cities back east.
Doubt it's anything you can't handle. Stick with us and you'll be fine.
That is something of a comfort.
When did you return to the Autumn?
I went to them in April of last year, but it wasn't a return. They took me in. People were leaving town, and there was less need for me at the clinic. It was Dr. Sedgwick who encouraged me to find my own path. The Autumn were kind to accept me as a guest, but truthfully, I'm glad for this opportunity to travel with you and the others.
You said the Autumn took you in. They aren't your people?
No. I don't know who my people are. My
Aw.
father never told Dr. Sedgwick, and I have no memories of him talking about it. I think my parents came from somewhere to the east, but I'm not even sure of that.
So how'd you become a healer? Did you go to school?
No. I mean, I attended the missionary school for a few years as a child, but not to learn medicine. I was taught by Dr. Sedgwick. I worked as his apprentice for nearly a decade. He was a wonderful guardian and mentor. I am grateful for all his care.
You said Doc Sedgwick was your guardian? What about your parents?
I never knew my mother. She died soon after I was born. My father worked for Dr. Sedgwick, which is how I came to his household. He took me in when my father died from an infected wound.
I'm so sorry. How old were you?
I don't remember exactly, but I couldn't have been more than 5.
Did that have anything to do with you choosing to learn medicine?
I suppose so, yes. If I can save somebody's loved one, grant them extra time to cherish together, well, there's no better way to help people, is there?
Have you ever tried tracking down where you came from?
No, I've considered it, but it's complicated. Perhaps someday.
Phil?
Señorita?
Will this be your first time visiting El Presidio?
It will. I have heard many tales of this so-called Mouth of the West. I am curious to find out which ones are true.
You're very polite, Phil, but please, call me Harley.
What is wrong with Señorita?
It's not my name.
Ah, but it is a sign of respect. I would never dream of addressing a new Spanish lady by her given name.
Well, things are different here.
As I am learning. If you wish it, it will be so.
Appreciate it. We'll talk more later.
I look forward to it.
Hey, I see something up ahead, by the side of the road. Looks like some kind of castle?
Wagon's slowing down.
Guess it caught Lola's eye, too. Let's have a look.
You know how you respect me? You call me by what I asked you to call me.
Now that is some truly impressive architecture.
Cool.
Do you think so? Truly? That it does, impress?
I agree. It's got a certain kind of picturesque quality.
Are you the architect of this structure, sir?
I am indeed visionary, architect, and sole laborer. My name is Villius Circas. What you see before you is a monument to love.
How do you mean?
This is my marriage proposal to my darling Marta. Every stone you see has been placed by my hand with utmost care. Soon it shall be completed, and my castle will have its queen.
Damn, feller. You're making the rest of us menfolk look bad.
I'm going into town to pick up a few things. I'll see y'all back on the wagon.
I'll come with you.
Danny, no! I want to talk to Danny. That's okay. I clearly made my priorities. Oh. I thought it updated my journal, but it was just an autosave, I guess. Fine.
This fellow's been busy. No doubt about that.
You seriously, like, built this entire thing yourself? You are out of your mind.
Not sure what's in them, but they look heavy. Suppose it gets the job done, eventually. I can't even begin to imagine how many stones it took to build that thing.
You installed the windows too? Jeez.
I can't...
Busy builder, that's for sure. Welcome, Opossum Feathers.
I really do admire this gentleman's dedication. It's rare to find someone so committed to anything.
Committed? Obsessed, I'd say.
Is it obsession to want to finish what you start? To build a home? To enjoy?
This is something else. This guy's a special shade of lunatic.
I don't know if I'd call this a home. I mean, maybe.
Madre mia. Never before have I seen such a romantic gesture. This Martha is a lucky woman.
Maybe.
If someone did such a thing for you, what would your response be?
Mostly, I'd be astonished. Nobody's ever done something like this for me, and I don't expect they ever will.
Oh, that is sad.
Just the way of things.
Oh. Why, would you do this sort of thing for me, Phil? Is that what you're saying?
This Martha is a lucky woman.
You know, I can't help but remember the time I made a grand declaration of love. Wasn't quite this elaborate, but it came close.
And what was the lucky lady's name?
Meredith. She was something real special. Shame it didn't work out between us. Hope things go better for this feller. Just goes to show what one man can accomplish if he puts his mind to it. Damn impressive.
I have a nagging feeling that things will not end well for poor Mr. Circus.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
Pardon me, Mr. Circus?
Yes, ma'am?
You've an interesting accent. Where do you come from?
I am from Lithuania. I came to Vespuccia to work on railroad and build bridges.
And how has this country treated you, compadre?
Very well. I have had many opportunities. The money I earned allowed me to build my dream.
There's plenty of ways to profess your love. Why a castle?
I am architect and engineer by trade. Building things is what I know. And my beloved Martha always loved castles. I thought this will be fitting. She will be so surprised when she sees it. I cannot wait to see her face.
I want to hear more about this Martha. How did you meet her?
Her father was chairman of rail company where I worked in Brampton. He introduced us.
And you started courting?
For a time, yes. Then my work brought me to Western Vespuccia, but we have corresponded. I send letter every month.
Hang on. When was the last time you saw Martha?
Just before I came here. 7 years.
Oh, God. Flowers, chocolates, promises you don't intend to keep, castles. You know, it's the little things. What is, I don't know, what is Bishop's Castle?
You're telling me you haven't seen Martha in 7 years, and you've built her this castle hoping she'll marry you? What if she says no?
She will not refuse me. Not when she sees what I can give her. But perhaps you will see for yourself. I sent her telegram to invite her here, and she sent a response. Today, she will be here.
Cool.
So have you been building this castle for 7 years, then?
About that long, yes. I began at once when I moved here, so that I could bring Martha here to live with me as soon as possible.
Caramba.
Great work takes time.
Is it your intention to actually live in this place?
Of course.
Wouldn't it help to have some doors?
All in due time. My
It's
dear
got one.
Martha has
Oh, wait, no, it
delicate
doesn't.
constitution. Desert heat will be good for her health.
Does she have problems with her breathing?
Yes, I believe so. Often when I would visit, her housemaid would say she was too ill to see anyone.
Now, I've heard that one before.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought there was a door there, but there isn't. It's just an open doorway. Interesting.
You said you built this all by yourself? How'd you manage that?
As I said, I am engineer by trade. There are plenty of stones all around. I simply gather and place them.
I'll just be off for now. Thanks for the talk.
Goodbye.
Where did you get all the stones? Okay. Almost as interesting as the world's biggest bowl of twine. And now I'm going to have that Weird Al song stuck in my head. Hello.
Harley, does it seem to you that something is not quite right about Mr. Circus' story?
I had that thought, yes.
I have a suspicion that the lady over there might have some clarification to offer.
What? I misread that sign, so I said, like, last doink in.
This Martha is a lucky woman.
Last point in. Doesn't inspire much confidence, does it? Guess nobody wrote in today. Too bad we haven't got more time to spare. I could use a wash. Ma'am?
Yes?
Your name wouldn't happen to be Martha, would it?
Why, yes it is. Martha Ward. Do I know you?
No, but I've heard lots about you. Mr. Villia Circus told me all about you. I believe you know him?
Only too well, I'm afraid. I just want this unfortunate business concluded so I can go home to my husband.
Wait, you're married?
Quite happily, 6 years last June.
Santa Maria.
Does Mr. Circus know that?
No. That's why I'm here.
Oh boy.
Is your husband aware that you've come here?
Oh, heavens, no. He'd be furious. I left him a note saying I was going to visit my sister. Naturally, he has no idea a circus even exists. But he's very protective.
Mr. Circus told me you've been corresponding all this time.
Is that what he said?
He claims to have sent you a letter every month.
And they've each gone straight into the fire. I would have thought he'd get the message after years with no reply. But he's left me no choice except to come here and spell it out for him.
You could have written to him and said no. Oh my god.
How did you and Mr. Circus meet?
He worked for my father's company. We were introduced at a Yuletide soiree. He was pleasant enough, but then he began calling on me at home. I didn't wish to encourage him, but he kept pursuing me anyway.
Did you ever actually tell Mr. Circus you weren't interested?
I gave him no favorable sign. Eventually, I stopped receiving him with my father's blessing. He imagined a better match for me as an associate engineer. Thankfully, Mr. Circus was reassigned to Western Vespuccia after a few months.
No one told him no.
Is the desert heat making you feel better?
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Circus said it might help your delicate constitution.
Yes, I suppose he would think that. You see, when I didn't wish to receive him, I would instruct my staff to make excuses. Say I wasn't feeling well, or away taking the water somewhere. It wasn't entirely forthright of me, I admit, but Circus was vexatiously persistent.
Enjoy your day, ma'am.
You as well. And if you see Mr. Circus again, please don't tell him I'm staying here. I'll go and speak with him when I'm ready.
Oh boy. This is infuriating.
Nice day out.
Quiet.
I cannot believe that fool spent all his time chasing a married woman. Has he no shame?
I will, yeah. Bishop's Castle. Sounds interesting. Built by one guy, my gosh. It's pretty cool. So,
I cannot.
Just goes to show what one man.
I have a nagging.
I mean, I guess I have no choice but to talk to the guy. Hmm.
Pardon me, Mr. Circus?
Yes, ma'am?
But also, it's not entirely... I feel like Martha isn't entirely to blame for this because as, I guess, a society woman, and also just as a woman in general, basically women aren't allowed to say no. They have to be available to men at all times. So, you know, saying no, I'm not interested, would not be taken well.
Mr. Circus, there's something you should know about Martha.
What? What is it?
Well, it turns out she's married. Has been for 6 years.
What? How do you know this? Did you meet her?
Yes. She said she would come speak to you when she was ready.
Ah, this explains everything.
When I did not hear from her, I blamed this country's ineffectual postal service. But clearly this brute has kept her from writing. Or even hidden my letters from her.
No, you don't understand.
Oh, I understand. I understand very well. She would not have agreed to come if she did not want to escape unhappy marriage.
Ah, right. I'll just be off for now. Thanks for the talk.
Goodbye.
This is extremely squicky. I just want to just why am I getting involved? Just leave.
Best not bother him unless I've got something to ask.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting too. I was expecting to like be given an option to make excuses. I wasn't. I wanted the option to, you know, not say anything and let her come talk to him when she was ready, like she said. But no, the game basically just forced me to rat her out.
Yes?
Mr. Circus seems convinced you're going to leave your husband for him.
And I'm sure Mr. Circus also believes pigs can fly.
How will you deal with him? He clearly won't take no for an answer.
I'll find a way. I'll just...
Martha!
Bronson, what are you doing here?
I'd ask you the same. Why did you lie to me?
Oh, Bronson, I didn't want to, but I had no choice. Things are just so complicated.
What in the ether does that mean? And who are these people?
Hey, Samuel Stokes.
Please, Bronson, I can explain everything.
Damn fine idea. Start by telling me what you're really doing here.
I came to deal with some personal business.
Personal business? What personal business could you have?
I have an unwanted suitor. I've come here to tell him to leave me alone once and for all.
You what? Where is he? I'll kill him.
No, you will not.
I will so. Tell me where to find the bastard.
Hey now, get that bee out of your bonnet.
I don't need your help. I'll find him myself.
Bronson, come back here this instant.
I do not think that went very well.
Yeah, well... It's not my fault.
I cannot believe that.
Honestly, these two people made their own bed and they get to lie in it.
Scoundrel! Ruffian! I'll I'll teach you to lust after another man's wife.
Ah, so you are the swine keeping Martha prisoner.
Why, you foreign bastard.
Jesus.
Whoa, easy, feller.
Bronson, have you gone mad?
You have until the count of 10 to get out of my sight and out of our lives forever. Otherwise, I'll make sure you won't bother us again. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You should listen to the man, Mr. Circus. He seems to mean what he says.
I most certainly do.
You do not frighten me.
Hermano, you should be very frightened right now.
Bronson, put that gun away and stop acting like a fool.
I'm doing this for you, my sweet.
But I asked you not to, Sugar Plum.
You do well to listen to your wife, Mr. Ward.
This is, after all, her business, and not yours.
I'm her husband. Of course it's my business.
Mr. Circus, I think it's very clear that this isn't going your way. Just let her go. She's not worth your life.
Very well. Please, sir, I will not trouble you again.
Do I have your word? You will stay away from my wife and disappear from our lives for good?
You have my word.
Very good. Come, Martha. Let's get out of this cesspit.
A moment, please. I will be right behind you. I'm terribly sorry it all had to turn out this way, Vilius.
Why did you not tell me you no longer desired my affections?
I didn't know how.
Martha, I am here now. Tell me what you feel.
I feel nothing for you. I never did. I don't know why I never said anything. I think I was afraid of your reaction.
Yeah.
But I hoped you would take my silence as a clear indication of my disinterest.
I cannot believe what I am hearing. I spent 7 years building this castle for you. All my money, everything I own was spent to fund the construction. And now, this.
You all suck. All 3 of you are idiots.
You know, the pair of you make me sick.
I beg your pardon?
This poor dimwit wastes years of his life obsessing over a woman too lily-livered to tell him the truth. I'd say you deserve each other.
And here I thought you were on my side.
Harley is right. You each need to face your truths.
Disgraceful.
Perhaps I should have been bolder in speech and made my refusal more plain.
And I should have heard the words in your silence.
Aw.
Please forgive me. And forget me.
I can promise the one, never the other.
Aw, okay.
Goodbye, Martha.
I mean, yeah, how do you forget a woman who basically screwed you out of
Rough break,
7
fella.
years of your life?
There's plenty of mares on the plain.
You speak of horses when I have been spurned by a goddess.
Now then, deifying was probably your first mistake.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Oh, you missed a hell of a show.
You gonna be all right, Mr. Circus?
I will carry on.
What will you do with this castle?
It is the only home I have. I am not sure.
Maybe this is Bishop's Castle. Hey.
I'm sure your castle will attract travelers. Caught our eye, for sure. You could open it to guests, charge admission, earn back some of what you spent on it.
And invite the whole world to gawk at my misfortune? What else is left to me? Tour guide of monument to my folly.
We done here?
I believe so.
Good.
I mean, you don't have to tell anyone. You can just say, yeah, I built this castle. For reasons. Because I felt like it. Had a lot of time on my hands. Yeah, donate to the local library or something. Silence is not communication. Leave the ghosting to job recruiters. Yep. 100%. Well, that was a... That was just a giant clusterfuck. A bowerbird's castle. Oh, that's a good name for it. A curious sight by the side of the road compelled us to halt to take it in, a kind of castle or architectural folly made of assorted stones fitted together. Incredibly, it was all the work of a single man, an engineer by the name of Bilius Circus, built over the course of 7 years as a declaration of love. It put me in mind of the way bowerbirds weave their nuptial displays, arranging great piles of pretty things to dazzle and win their mates. A grand gesture, but a futile one. The lady in question was no besotted maid, but a woman 6 years married, and furthermore determined to have nothing to do with her misguided suitor. In fact, she had arrived on that very day to finally tell him so, with the jealous husband on her heels, to see she got into no mischief. I must report that it did not go so well for the lovelorn architect. A pack of fools, the pair of them. One a deluded fantasist, the other a self-absorbed coward. I would almost say they deserved one another. Still, some good may yet come of it. The castle could make a fine attraction for tourists. You want blue? Let me smash. No, Ron. Who haven't I talked to? Danny. That was who I wanted to talk to.
Hey, Danny, let's talk.
Sure. Actually, I was wondering about something. Where'd you learn how to fight?
For a while, it was how I put food on the table.
No kidding. You were a brawler?
I was. Used to call me Spitfire Harley.
Wow. Were you any good?
I took my licks, but usually held my own. In that world, being good is mostly about how much punishment you can take and keep coming back. Same as anywhere, really. Hell, if you want, maybe you and I can go a couple of rounds later.
Heck yeah.
Really?
Of course not, Danny. She's just pulling your leg.
I was being perfectly sincere.
Oh, shoot. In that case, I'm sitting ringside.
Yeah, teach Danny to fight.
So have you been to El Presidio before?
Yeah, I was born there.
No kidding.
Oh, cool.
Didn't you say your family lived near El Presidio?
In the area, yeah. They moved out to the city proper a few years back. I left when I was 16. Haven't been back in ages.
When the Otham had us locked up, you said something about having been in a similar predicament. Have to say, I've been curious.
Did you get whipped?
Right. Well, it's not that exciting. Nothing like one of Jake's stories.
Let me be the judge of that.
So, before I met Jake, I used to run with some folks who, well, we got into some trouble. The guy in charge, he thought it might be fun to try sticking up a post office.
Oh God,
that
why?
Didn't go so well. We wound up in jail for a few days. We didn't escape or anything, just did our time and were let go.
I see.
Told you it was a boring story.
Not at all. I appreciate you telling me.
Interesting. I'm gonna break him over my knee.
So who were these people you ran with before?
They, do we have to talk about this right now?
No, we don't. Sorry if I hit a sore spot.
It's okay. Maybe some other time.
Yeah, I'll ask later.
Hey, Jake?
Yeah, Harley?
Did your travels ever take you to El Presidio?
A few times. Can't say I much care for it. But that city's for you. Too crowded, too impersonal. I'll take the wide open countryside any day.
Looks like we have some time on our hands. How about a story?
Sure, why not? It was 1842, and I'd been hired by the sheriff of Bleachbone Gulch to track down some cattle rustlers. It was a long and winding trail, but by following the signs, I finally tracked down the stolen herd and the rustlers' camp. So I went back to town and gathered up a posse. 4 able-bodied men, plus myself. That night, we went back under the cover of darkness. We had the element of surprise, but we were outnumbered 3 to 1. Before I knew it, the shooting had started. It was a long and bloody gunfight. In the end, yours truly was the last man left standing. I drove that whole herd on by my lonesome. They were all back home by dawn, with not a head missing. Lost some good fellers that night. But that was the end of cattle rustling in Wishbone Gulch.
Hell of a story.
Ah, there's plenty more where that came from.
I appreciate the chat.
Anytime, Harley.
Nice.
We're slowing down again.
Good. I could use a change of environment. Harley, could I have a word outside?
Sure.
What you want?
Sun's getting low. Time to set up camp.
Harley and I'll be back shortly. Just gonna take a walk over to that spring. Danny and the others can aid in the preparations.
You better not be skipping out every time there's work to be done, you hear?
Shall we?
Lead on.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Would you look at that spring? I ain't seen water that clear since that time I went swimming with the Prime Minister's rambunctious niece.
So, you wanted to talk to me about something?
I did. I can tell you've got a cogitating mind, always assessing the situation, finding the risks and opportunities. Now that we've got a real posse assembled, I'm keen to hear your thoughts on our little venture. Everything seem hunky-dory so far, in your estimation?
What's my opinion matter? You're the one who put this all together.
True, but I brought you in as our protection, to look out for us all. If anything smells off, you're the one I want to hear it from.
Okay.
It's an odd bunch, all right, but all capable in their own way. If a treasure's out there to be found, I think this gang can do it.
Delighted to hear it. You let me know if that changes, all right?
You got it.
Right, well, we should be heading back. Else Miss Johnson will...
Oh, hey there.
Howdy, friend.
Who are you?
Welcome, welcome. Name's Aubrey Trout, but you're not here about me. I reckon you're here for the spring water.
Something special about it?
Something special about it? This here's an etheric spring.
What?
Best kept secret in the great western desert.
Etheric spring?
Sure. Y'all know about ethericity, don't you?
We're familiar.
Well, this water's got the same properties, due to a confluence of etherically sensitive minerals deep in the earth, you see. This here's a hotbed. Taking a drink will cure whatever ails you and grant you the strength of 10 men.
I don't believe you.
Okay, so prove it.
Gladly. Observe.
Jumpin' Jehoshaphat.
Daily sips of this water have conferred upon me a practically superhuman strength. Now, tell me, how old you think I am?
I imagine a spry young feller like yourself can't be more than 25?
What if I told you I was 52?
Then I'd say you're definitely lying.
I swear on my mother's grave, if only she'd lived long enough to discover this place. And she'd still be right here with me. And looking so young and vital, you'd take the pair of us for brother and sister. Okay, look, I'll take a drink now. Watch me.
You are so full of it.
There, you see? Tastes like springtime and sunlight. Now, if the water was no good, would I have done that?
Reckon not.
So go on, friends. Share in the wealth. Take a sip.
If it does even half of what you say.
Not so fast. Something is off. I'm sure you won't mind if I have a look around, Mr. Trout.
Be my guest.
Looks refreshing, but looks can be deceiving. All these trees look dead. That can't be a good sign. The others are nowhere in sight. All these trees... Jake, I don't think you should drink that water.
Why not?
Forget it. I think something's tucked under there. Wonder if this is hiding anything. Was there a sign here at one point? Wonder what it said. They're circling low. That's not reassuring.
Uh-oh. Hey, Sungniff.
There could be something in here. Looks like there's something hidden under that bush. What's this? These boards have been badly damaged, but it looks like it says WRNI warning. These warning.
Well, the story so far is
What have we here? Magic Spring didn't do much for this beast's health.
Ooh. Well, basically, we're on the we're heading out west on the trail of some scientist guy who apparently skipped town and took a bunch of valuables with him.
Did this poor animal die after drinking the water, or because of it?
And on the way, we are having adventures.
Wonder if this is hiding anything. Ow! Bunch of stickers. Damn. Nothing but twigs and leaves. What's this? A money pouch. There's 10 crowns in here.
Sweet. Spare change. Love it.
Was there a sign? Water of life, huh? I've got my eyes on you.
I'm flattered.
Jake, I don't think you should drink that water.
Why not?
There was a warning sign over there, and someone destroyed it.
Really? That stick's been there since I found the place. Never seen a sign.
There was a cow skull in the reeds. Looked deliberately hidden there.
Is that right?
Yes, I did that. Wasn't nefarious, just clearing the path so no one trips on it.
Now wait just a minute. What are you trying to pull here, friend?
Nothing. I swear.
Right, and I'm the Prime Minister. Quite the little scam you've got going on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I think you do. Jake, maybe you can coax our friend here to talk?
I'd listen to the lady, partner.
Ooh.
Unless you want to be another notch on Gentleman Jake's holster.
Okay. I'll talk. The spring's toxic. I trick people into taking a sip and then rob them.
Gee, Rover Cripes, that's pretty low. Even for a confidence trickster.
So how do
You don't kill them. A little sip only knocks you out for a bit.
So how are you still standing after all those drinks you took?
That's what I'm wondering.
I got a natural immunity. What can I say? Found a way to turn it to my advantage.
And that iron-bending trick?
Like you said, just a trick.
Of course. I should have seen through that. We got ourselves a real piece of work here, Harley.
You're telling me.
What do you reckon we should do with them?
I mean, I don't want to kill him, but...
We can't let him work his tricks on anyone else. He needs to be punished.
I agree.
Please, don't kill me.
Do we look like murderers to you? We need to make an example of him.
I've got just the thing. Go get me some rope from the wagon, would you?
All right.
I turn my back for 5 minutes and Jake's like gone into business with him.
Some fine work, Jake.
Thank you. Maybe now our friend will think twice about leading people astray. Shall we?
Wait! You're just gonna leave me here?
Yeah.
Oh, plenty of folks travel this road. You know that, or you wouldn't have bothered laying your trap. I'm sure you'll encounter some charitable soul. Eventually.
Speaking of charitable souls, I found his stash of stolen money while I was snooping around.
Well, ain't that something? Come on, let's head back and see how the camp setup's going.
Poisoner, liar. It's just 10 crowns,
So the
too. It's
little
barely
weasels
anything.
concocted this whole story about how it's an etheric spring and the water has special powers, trying to hoodwink us into drinking it. All I can say is it's a good thing we ain't the rubes he took us for.
I wonder what would happen if you just let Jake drink.
Come now, Jake. He had you hook, line, and sinker.
Nonsense. I was just playing along, drawing him in so he'd slip up and reveal himself.
Is that right? Because you looked about 2 seconds away from taking a great big swig.
Good. If I even had you fooled, then he fell right for it. I assure you, I had him right where I wanted him.
So what happened when you found him out?
We got a full confession. Turns out, the water's poison. The snake worked up some scheme to get passers-by to drink, and then empty their pockets as soon as they were out of commission. Leastways, I think that's what he said. Couldn't catch half of it through his blubbering and sniffling.
I feel like Lola would know about this guy too, or at least she'd know about the spring. I'm sure she's been out this way numerous times.
What are you talking about, Jake? He wasn't exactly happy about being exposed, but he wasn't crying or anything.
I was trying to add some drama, okay? You harbor some literary aspirations yourself, don't you? It's called storytelling.
So how'd you deal with him?
We made an example of him.
You killed him?
Let's just say he won't be harming anybody else.
Damn, Jake.
Don't worry, Nadine. Jake's just pulling your leg. We left him tied up next to the spring and wrote up a sign warning about what he did. And whatever happens after, I guess, is up to the next person who comes along.
Oh, well, that's a relief.
Sounds like he got off easy.
Yeah, kinda.
Chili's almost ready. Holly, can you come help me and Phil serve?
Sure thing. That smells heavenly.
The kid is a good cook, eh? But I believe this chili could use a little of my secret ingredient.
What's that?
Mezcal. I picked up a bottle before we left Rosewater. Gives it a nice smoky flavor. And makes you feel nice afterwards, too. This group needs a bit of loosening up, don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure not to overdo it.
Me? Overdo it? Never.
We should be ready to serve. Just one last taste. Mmm, tastier than usual. Smoky. Did one of you add something?
Just my secret ingredient.
Well, whatever it is, it's real nice. Come on, let's fill up these bowls and get everybody fed.
Get everybody crunk.
That was some mighty fine chili, Danny boy.
Glad you liked it.
I'd say it was the best damn chili I've ever tasted. You ever decide to give up gunslinging? Maybe you could open up a restaurant.
You really think so?
I'd be a regular.
Gosh, thank you.
It's a nice night.
Perfect for relaxing and enjoying the company of one's comrades. The best part of the day. I have always said that the battle is won or lost around the campfire the night before.
All right. That, you know what? Let's stop there, because it's about 2 hours. Seems like a good place to end. Actually, yeah, no, yeah, we'll pick up next time and talk to everyone around the fire, and then settle down and see what happens next. I'm not a big fan of chili myself, but I can see why people are super into it. Maybe, I mean, it may just be like lack of experience. I just haven't had like really good chili. I'm willing to try. Yeah. So, another lovely session of Rosewater. I'm very much looking forward to next week. And I'll be back tomorrow with Deadly Premonition. I didn't do Deadly Premonition last week because I was not in a good headspace for streaming, but I don't anticipate that happening again tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be back. And we'll have some more fun with weird-ass survival horror game thing. You make an awesome chili sin carne. Nice. What am I doing? Oh, I'm looking for someone to raid. Let's see if there's anyone around. Oh, Taco Adventure is playing 11th Hour. And if you were around when I attempted to stream 11th Hour, you may have seen I did not spend very long on that game because I rage quit after like 3 or 4 puzzles. But it looks like Taco Adventure is doing better than I did, so let's raid him. Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for joining. New and old faces alike. Hope you had a good time tonight. I sure did. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye.